Nicole has been lashing Florida through the overnight hours into early this morning, making its third landfall as a tropical system right around 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see some of the stronger winds and those windy impacts in the Melbourne Beach, Florida area from our field correspondents. I want to bring in the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Michael Brennan, on standby here to talk more of Nicole's impacts with us. Thanks for joining us this morning, Dr. Brennan. I know it's been a long night, but Nicole still has a lot of impacts to bring to the state of Florida, the southeast, with this massive wind field. And we still have high tide coming up here a little bit later this morning, so maybe we should dig into that storm surge forecast and what that looks like for the rest of the day today.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, for most people in Florida, Nicole the impacts are just starting now as we move into the day today on Thursday. You can see the center of the system centered between Tampa and Orlando, still maximum winds of about 60 miles per hour. But the big story is going to be the water. We do have that storm surge warning still in effect for much of the east coast of Florida. We could see 3 to 5 feet of inundation above ground level from Jupiter Inlet all the way northward through places like Jacksonville, St. Augustine, up to Altamont Sound, Georgia, the St. Johns River. With this morning's high tide cycle, that water is going to come up again. And we already saw pictures from yesterday and overnight of a lot of storm surge impacts along the immediate coastline there. We're also have the potential to see 3 to 5 feet of inundation on the Gulf Coast of Florida as that wind field from Nicole starts to push water up into the Big Bend region from Ocklawahnee River down to Anclote River. And we could also see 2 to 4 feet of inundation from Savannah up to Charleston into South Carolina. Again, that wind field is just moving a lot of water around, and that's going to be a big impact during the day today.
Certainly, and that wind field is absolutely massive with Nicole. I mean, with the tropical storm force winds out so far from the center, can we talk a little bit about what that means for folks across Georgia, the Carolinas, and Florida for the rest of the day today?
Yeah, you can see we have tropical storm warnings in effect for most of the Florida peninsula, central and north portions of the peninsula, even into the panhandle on the Gulf and the East Coast, also for the Georgia coast and the southern 2/3 of the South Carolina coast. You can see those tropical storm force winds extend out over about 450 miles from the center. So we're going to be talking about, some tree damage, limbs and branches down, some scattered power outages, just a sort of a large scale tropical storm force wind event, especially in gusts. So it's not going to be a great day to be out and around. You're going to want to be in a safe place so you don't deal with any problems with trees. You could have tree branches, power lines down on things like roads. So you're going to be very safe and be in a safe place today.
Certainly, especially when you combine the strong winds with the heavy rainfall that's coming in. Some of our forecast models are really liking some of those areas across northern Florida for some intense rain a little bit later today. And then even up into the Carolinas and Georgia, as you get into the Blue Ridge Mountains, some heavy rainfall from that orographic lift. So what's the flood potential for the rest of the day today and into Friday?
Well, the focus really today is going to be on North Florida, southern Georgia, into coastal South Carolina. That's where we could see those higher rainfall totals there, and that's the area that you see highlighted in yellow here that has the highest potential for at least scattered flash flooding issues, especially along the coast where the heavy rain is going to coincide with the storm surge. And then as we move on into Friday and Saturday, you can see that heavy rainfall is going to extend northward with the highest totals along the Blue Ridge Mountains from northeast Georgia through western North Carolina up through western Virginia. We could see isolated totals as high as 6 inches, and then a broader 2 to 4 inch rainfall amount up through interior portions of the Northeast and parts of the Ohio Valley. And that's going to lead to flash flood potential along the Blue Ridge, especially, and up into the interior Northeast Friday into Saturday morning.
Yeah, so a lot of impacts for a lot of people. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Brennan, for your time with us. I know you guys are really busy there. So again, thank you. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.